realized that we had some email issues later in this week, which has caused some complications on some of our resolutions, so we'll address those as we get there. All right, I'll call to order the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, March 13th, 2025. I'd like to invite Robert Jones forward to provide our invocation and then lead us in our pledge, if everyone will stand.
Let us pray. Our Lord, our God, we come before you today with gratitude. We thank you for being a God of love who is with us now in every room, in this very room. You never leave us or forsake us. Your grace has brought us safe, far, and your grace will lead us home. We thank you for making each of us in this room, every person we meet, every citizen of this city, and every city in your image with dignity and infinite worth. We thank you for the calling you have given to each of us to be good stewards of your creation, to love our neighbors as ourselves. Lord, give these leaders the peace, the comfort, and the forethought to be the leaders that we need. In your holy name, amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Roll call, Ms. Qualls.
Mayor Williams.
Here.
Vice Mayor Tyler.
Here.
Councilmember Cagle.
Here.
Councilmember Ezell.
Here.
Councilmember Witt.
Here.
City Manager Miller.
Here.
City Attorney Litchford.
Here.
All right. First item on the agenda is the consent agenda. So I assume everyone's had an opportunity to review the minutes of the February 27th, 2025 council meeting and the January 2025 financial report. And I will entertain a motion for that consent agenda.
Make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second.
Have a motion to approve by Councilmember Ezell and a second by Vice Mayor Tyler. Do you have any corrections or discussions? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Qualls.
Vice Mayor Tyler.
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle.
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell.
Yes.
Councilmember Witt.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes, consent agenda approved. We'll move to the next item is communications from citizens. This is an opportunity for any citizen or resident of East Ridge to come forward, address the council with any questions, concerns. And we've got 5 that have signed in. If you didn't sign in, you still want to come up, you'll have the opportunity afterwards. But the first one we have is Lisa Thompson. Yes, ma'am, you have up to 5 minutes.
Thank you. Good evening. I just came to speak on, advocate for the dog park. I understand there's some discussion potentially about relocating the park. Just wanted to first state, thank the city for offering a dog park. My husband and I recently moved to East Ridge. We've been here about 2 years now. The park is wonderful. Both of our dogs greatly enjoy going, and we personally enjoy the dog park as well. We've met several people there, learned a lot about the community in East Ridge, and I think it's really a testament to East Ridge's vision for the community that's trying to build, that we have such a lovely amenity. I'm not entirely sure what's motivating or driving the conversation about relocating the dog park other than what I've read in the news, but I would just strongly ask that you take maybe a step back and really have maybe a more thoughtful discussion about what's going on. I know there's some concerns about noise from the park, maybe disrupting the event center. I can tell you, I'm a city planner, so I kind of know this stuff. I can tell you that the noise from the water park when the children during the summer is very loud. There's also a police station and a fire hall nearby. The sirens are loud. I was at the dog park last night. There was someone chainsawing a tree. So I'm not sure you can entirely cause all noise to go away just because there's an event going on. This is just kind of the product of an active community, vibrant place. I also would just personally say that I was part of some of the approval project for the dog park originally. I know there was a lot of concerns about the Springvale site, just due to some activity that may or may not be going on there. Also, it's not very well lit. There's parking concerns, other safety concerns, and just accessibility concerns as far as some of people being able to actually utilize that space in a safe manner. I would say, just to keep my comments brief, because I know there's others that want to comment, would encourage maybe the city to think about a citizens advisory group for the dog park. There's a lot of us that use the dog park. It is a community gathering space. I know several of us would be happy to volunteer our time as sounding boards or feedback groups to provide maybe just some comments or suggestions about maybe if the park does need to be relocated, maybe safe places for it to be so that it could be accessible and continue to be an enjoyed asset to the community. And I thank you again for your time.
Thank you. The next one I have, I believe, is Jane Stevens.
Hi. I've just moved to Eastridge about a year ago. Before I lived off of Missionary Ridge, I house sat. When I got my dog, I looked around for the different parks to take her. Eastridge is by far the best park I have ever been to. The security issues are insurmountable to me. I am a widow, I'm 62 years old, and I'm partially disabled. I went over to Springvale on Sunday after I left the park. Now, hopefully it's cleaned up now, and I'm sure it is. I found 2 syringes, 2 used condoms, at least they're using safe sex, bullet casings. I'm sorry, but that scares me, and I got spooked because I heard somebody or something in the woods, and that's where I found the stuff, and I took back off to my car and left the area. It's not safe there. It's just not. There's been more crime there. Also, per FEMA, that is in a known floodplain. If noise is such an issue from barking dogs, we can compromise. And as Lisa said, we would be more than happy to have an advisory group. If there's an event like a wedding, which I don't see weddings happening there, but we'll wait and see. If there is a wedding there, and it's between, say, 1 and 3, we can certainly make sure that nobody goes to the park during that time. The majority of us who do use this park is at mid to late afternoon, mostly on the weekdays. I did notice that there wasn't a whole lot of parking at Springvale. I have made so many friends from this park, and I don't want to lose them, and I have a feeling if it's moved, we will lose touch with each other. We have amenities from this park that I don't believe are going to be available at Springvale. Restrooms. Yeah, we can go before we leave home, but I'm an old woman and I take certain medications. I can't promise that I won't need to use the restroom, okay? Running water. Also, the police are just a jump and a hop, plus the cameras. We are also on 2 major thoroughways, so it feels safer because we know there's a lot of traffic, and if somebody sees something happening, again, if noise is such an issue, are you going to tell the kids at the playground, you can't make any noise? You're going to tell the kids at the splash park, you can't make any noise? They make a lot of noise. They laugh, they scream, they fight, they have fun. That's what kids do, and they should be allowed to do. I just don't want to lose my park. It's my park. It's my dog's park. I love this park, and I don't want to see it moved. I don't think you guys have fully realized or even talked to the majority of us why we feel this way. I didn't see that Springvale was that much bigger. I don't see the homeless encampments that are there now. I don't see that them leaving and then not coming back. I live near Camp Jordan. I know that the police and the parks people have issues with that there as well. I don't want our park to move. I don't want to lose the camaraderie and the family that we have at this park, and I don't want to lose the advantages of it. Going to the community center, being able to use the businesses around here. I would never have gone to this grocery store over here, Food Lion. It's on my way home. I wouldn't have probably stopped at some of these places right along the road, but they're on my way home, or they're on my way here. When the restrooms are closed and we can't get to water, We have these businesses that we can go to and purchase it from, or whatever we need to do, and they work with us. I don't want to lose our park, so please consider not moving it. And that's my 2 cents worth.
Thank you. The next we have is Holly Page.
Hi, I'm also here to advocate for not moving the dog park. I've spent the last couple of days going through the Eastridge Police Department's daily activity reports on Facebook. And when searching for Springvale Park, I found there were 41 different reports. And I pulled all the complaint numbers in case anybody wants those. Some of those reports were innocuous. Back EMS, civil matter, check well-being. There were 2 noise complaints, an alarm where they found the house was secure, an auto broken down, miscellaneous vehicle speeding, criminal littering from the homeless camp, and also illegal dumping in the homeless camp. But some I found a lot more concerning. There was a suspicious activity with a vicious dog. 5 other reports of suspicious activity. There were 5 suspicious vehicle reports. A suspicious vehicle with a drug arrest. 3 suspicious persons. 2 park and walks where police were looking for illegal urban campers. 2 warrant services, 2 thefts from vehicles, a theft of a vehicle, indecent exposure, shots fired, criminal trespass, 2 unknown troubles where one was reported a woman was screaming and the other was a verbal disorder, a domestic disorder, and found property where a juvenile found a syringe. The address for the dog park is the same as Pioneer Frontier and City Hall here. There were 32 reports at this address. All but 3 were from the playground, where it was mainly kids shooting each other with Orbeez, which is apparently against a city ordinance, or warrant services at court. So the 3 that were at the dog park in the last 2.5-ish years, one was an abandoned dog, one was a suspicious person, and one was an alleged assault where witnesses said no assault actually occurred. I definitely would not feel safe at Springvale Park, and if the dog park is moved there, I'll probably go to Fort Oglethorpe's dog park. I am not comfortable going to Springvale. We have made, friends, family. We're a great community. We have over 150 people that signed the petition to not move the dog park just in the last few days, 2 days. We don't want to move. We do understand that the event center is a big deal. And like Jane and Lisa said, we're willing to, not use it during big events in order to save our park. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Holly Page. All right, the next is Nicholas, and I won't go there. I'll let you say it if you like when you come up. Yes, sir.
It's Cajun. It's Delat, so you just don't pronounce the S's.
Okay.
Yeah.
To that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Actually, I don't know if Lisa, Jane, or Holly recognize me. I have Dizzy. Yeah. So, and I also have Hootie too, but Hootie has heartworms, so he's slowly healing up. So he hasn't been to the park in a while. Again, you might notice I'm here for the dog park. Love it. We adopted our 2 dogs within the last 2 years. And when we were trying to figure out a place we could take our dogs to just commune with others and have a good time and not, waste a ton of money on dog daycare, I mean, the park's been great. And even though I probably am more quieter in the dog park and keep to myself, I haven't felt nothing but welcome. in that space. And I have to agree, like, safety-wise, I feel very safe there. I feel very comfortable there. I probably utilize it about 3 times a week, maybe 4 or 5 if the dogs are getting a little rowdy. And I really loved the recommendations from Lisa, Jane, and Holly, the idea of having a citizen advisory group. That's actually what I wanted to recommend, is just having a more thoughtful discussion about how do we keep this dog park in the space that it's in right now, while also being open-minded to the idea of relocating is an option worth considering. I personally am kind of excited about the idea of Springvale. When I hear about the safety concerns, about homelessness and syringes and criminality, what I really think about is that there's a need in this community that needs to be addressed to make sure that unhoused people have a safe place to be, making sure that we can address addiction in our community. That's sort of the thing that I did as a social worker in the city of Chattanooga for a few years, and I think it's something that can be done. So I definitely, if you might not already know, my dogs are hound dogs. So when I heard that, an acre of space could be available for my dogs, and I just imagined, okay, what's a quarter acre times 4, and just imagine that space. I think there's a lot of potential to revitalize a part of our community that is not being served in the way that is. We have a completely empty park that's not being utilized. And if a dog park can be a part of that, I would love to see how the city could take its resources and make it not only a dog park, but for a place where people want to spend their time, that they feel safe, and they actually want to go to. I know it adds about 5 minutes to my commute, but I'm definitely open to the idea of it moving, as long as it really coincides with a vision for the city that makes it more accessible, more community oriented, and makes it a safe place to live in. So I think that's really all I got. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. All right, the next is Ali, and I'm gonna pass on the last name too. But I'll let you pronounce it for me.
My name is Ali Broersma.
Okay, Rosema.
Yes, and
Thank you.
some of my points have already been said, but I'll still reiterate it because I've prepared a statement. Okay, so we were told that the relocation of the dog park was being prompted by noise disruption concerns. So I feel like this is a factor that should have been considered before the building of the event center, and removing the dog park would not remove the noise. There are dogs all around the surrounding neighborhood who bark, and the police and fire department are right there as well. Sirens going off at any given time. Are they proposing to move them as well? Or what about the splash pad or the Pioneer Frontier Park? These are the noises that all make up this neighborhood. Second, I'd like to address the notion that moving the dog park is for our benefit. Springvale and Camp Jordan was rejected before when the decision of where to put the dog park was being made, and with Springvale, the environmental concerns of frequent flooding. This would make the park inaccessible at times to us and increase maintenance costs as well. Never mind, there would be more mosquitoes, making it an unpleasant place to spend time. Our current dog park has everything we need, including facilities close by. So if moving the dog park is for our benefit, then why does the high majority of people who actually attend the dog park regularly not want to relocate? Why waste the money and many generous donations spent on our dog park for something we don't want? Why waste more grant money on a new park instead of allocating it to another project in need? Now, I've been walking to this dog park every weekday after work for the past 2 years directly from my house. This is my neighborhood. I see the same people every day for an hour, while others even stay there for 2 or 3 hours. This dog park is more than a place for our pets. We know more than just the dogs' names. We know each other. A strong community has formed here, and I have friends of all ages. The consistent interactions with neighbors and friends helps to contribute to the life of this neighborhood. And moving to a new location uproots and disrupts this community, and we just don't want to leave. That's all.
Thank you. That is all that's actually signed in. If there's anyone else in the audience, now is an opportunity to come forward. Yes, what I was going to say as she comes forward. The item for discussion, I'm going to move to the top of the list in new business. However, that's going to be a council discussion, so they will not be able to have any more comments from the public. So this is the opportunity. Yes,
I
ma'am.
did want to mention too that there's no way that you can keep the motorcyclists and the zooped up cars that go up and down Tombras or Ringgold quiet. They're really loud and they're really around on the weekends. So that's another matter that you guys are going to have to think about as well. The rest of us, we don't want you to move us. We like where we are. We love where we are. We love our dog park family. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes. Give us. You didn't sign in, so if you'll give us your name and your address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Corey Fisher. I live at 4603 Maryland Drive. I purchased a home off Maryland Drive about 3 years ago. When I moved to East Ridge, I was excited about what the community had to offer. I have a small special needs animal that waits on me all day long to come home from work, and it's one of the small things that I can give him, and he jumps up and down when I ask him if he wants to go to the dog park. It makes me proud to live in East Ridge that you guys provided this for us, and I'm proud where my county and city taxes go to very respectfully reconsider moving this dog park, as it's become an asset to me and my household. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Name and address, please.
Cindy Burke, 3532 Sunrise Terrace, East Ridge, 37412.
Yes, ma'am.
Since this is the only time I get to talk about my baby, and I wasn't prepared for this, but I want to let you know that I've lived in East Ridge for 30 years. My backyard is not conducive to having a fenced-in yard, or I would have one. I've never been able to have a pet because of that. So I really thought about it in 2020 because I thought I'm going to need a place to take Miss Derby, my golden doodle, to that she can run, because they have a lot of energy. So I went over my budget to make sure I could afford her. I went over everything. I wanted to make sure that I could, 2020 was really tough for me. And I ended up getting her in 2021. After she got her shots and everything, she's grown up in that backyard, wherever it is. And that's her home, and she, if you were to know her, she knows these people, and she knows their dogs. And she's very anxious and emotional like her mommy, and I just have to speak up for her because that's her home. That's all.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am. Same thing. Name and address, please.
My name is Jacqueline Lewis, and I live at 4113 East Ridge Drive, and technically Chattanooga, but East Ridge proper, 37412. I've only lived in East Ridge for less than a year, but I've really loved living here. I love the neighborhood I live in, which is this direct neighborhood. As someone who's been a dog owner for well over a decade, who has taken her dogs to multiple dog parks, I can't really emphasize how hard it is to find a dog park that actually functions. A dog park that is populated with other dogs and their owners, that isn't completely abandoned feeling or isolated or away from other buildings or city services. It's also very hard to find a dog park where the dogs don't fight each other and it's a dangerous environment for your animal. It is also very hard to find a dog park where the owners actually care for this space and clean up after their animals, which is, if a dog does its business in this park and the owner doesn't clean it up, we all tell them, hey, your dog just went, you need to go clean it up. That's a really strong indicator of having a sense of pride of place and community. I've been robbed at other dog parks, so I'm just gonna put that out there, that they are targeted as places for crime and criminal activity. I don't wanna sort of pigeonhole myself or the members who've shown up, but it is a large majority of women who go to dog parks, although it is diverse, it is widely diverse, but it is a place where women get targeted. So I just wanted to bring that up as someone who has actually filed a police report about that. My dog also has some socialization issues. He was a rescue in 2020. He was heartworm positive. He was abandoned. He has all kinds of issues. He loves this dog park so much. So it's a really great asset for me and my family because we do not have the additional money to pay for like the pet daycare places. So I just wanted to add that having the dog park, specifically this one with its community and all of its amenities, and having it in the middle of city center has been such an asset for me and my family. So thank y'all so much for taking the time to listen to us. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Anyone else? I see no one else, so I will now move to the, like I said, I'm going to bring this up closer because it's toward the end, so I'm going to move this up so we can have this discussion shortly. I'll have to do old business, but it'll be the first thing on new business. So we'll move now into communications from council members. Councilmember Cagle.
Yes, sir, I got two items here. The first one, has anybody reported the water leak in up there by the church at Food City? I got a call about it coming down the road there, and it's created a big pothole that keeps getting bigger. It looks like it might be coming between Food City, I mean not Food City, but the church and the drugstore there. Looks like it might be originating there and coming down the road. And I've noticed it for a couple of weeks, so. And then another thing is, here several months back, Mr. Miller brought up the question of doing an ordinance on the removal of garbage cans after a pickup day, because we've got one where you got to put them out the night before, and people are not taking them back in the next day. So he was wanting to figure out some way to make the people or find the people or something. So I just wanted to get a follow-up on it if he's done anything.
No, we're not going to find the people. We're going to tag the container and let them know what the ordinance says.
Okay.
Some people in my neighborhood, that becomes a permanent position for the container to sit out there by their mailbox 7 days a week, 24/7. And I'm getting some complaints from individuals in various parts of the city in regard to this. So we come up with a tag. We just need to finish the process and utilize them. It's not basically to fine, it's just basically to go on the container. It's either gonna be orange or red that basically says that your container needs to be moved back to the house within 24 hours.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Vice Mayor Tyler.
Nothing for me, Mayor. Thank you.
Councilmember Witt.
Nothing.
Councilmember Ezell.
Yes, sir. I spoke with the man and woman that live across from Springville Park. I asked them about the dog park, and they would appreciate it if it wasn't there. They said because of the dogs and the barking and their dog, it would cause it to bark all the time, and the neighbors around it, and it's in a neighborhood, they would like to see the city not utilize that park as a dog park. I thought I would let you know that.
Anything else, sir? Nope. All right, so we really don't have a lot to mention. There's a lot going on at the park and the community center, but I don't have anything to mention about it at this moment. However, our library, our amazing library. So there's so many activities going on. So Diamond Art Painting is Thursday, March the 20th, a week from today, 2 to 4. Come join them for the Diamond Art Painting. Food will be provided. Registration is required. Drawing Mr. Alex is Saturday, March the 22nd at 11 a.m. Mr. Alex will be showing how to draw a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Snacks will be provided. Registration is required for that as well. Then Bedtime Story is the third Monday of the month from 7 to 7:30. The next one will be the 17th. You can settle in for some great bedtime stories, wind down activities. Kids are welcome to come dressed in their PJs and bring your favorite bedtime toy, pillow, and blanket as well. Then STEM Night is the second Monday of the month, 6:30 to 7:30, the program where families will code, create, and challenge themselves through science, technology, engineering, arts, and math. Registration is required for that as well. Then Homeschool Book Club is the second and fourth Wednesday of the month, 3:30 to 4:30. And that runs from September through May 1st. September to May for first grade through fourth grade, and registration is required for that. Then a Novel Idea Book Club, the second Saturday of the month at 11 a.m. March pick is the Midnight Feast by Lucy Foley. And then a great thing that just occurred is the Tennessee Aquarium. So thanks to the Tennessee Aquarium for membership passes, so our patrons will now be able to check it out for a week. The pass is good for 2 adults and up to 5 kids. And you also can add the IMAX documentary for only $8. That doesn't include feature-length films, though. So we're very excited to add that aquarium item to the collection of our guest passes. For the items I mentioned to register, it's 423-867-7323. And if you hadn't been to our library, you should go. It is an amazing library. That is all I have, so I'll hand it over to City Manager Miller.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of items. First off, North Mac Smith Road, to give you an update on that one. Adams Contracting will start their construction on that widening project on Monday, March 17th. They will be responsible for widening that road, putting drainage on the east side, sidewalks on the east side, and make it a lot wider so we can accommodate further development in the Gateway project. They'll have 270 days to reach a substantial completion, so they should be completed and out of there by the end of this year. That's the first one. Second one, on the multi-purpose pavilion, or what we refer to as Town Center, and what I'm also asking the City Council tonight to give that a proper name. Last week and this week, the slabs, all 4 pods were poured concrete-wise. They've also started laying the block walls up for vertical construction, so that project is moving ahead. We're looking at substantial completion on that project somewhere towards the end of November to middle of December. And lastly, on Tuesday afternoon, we opened bids for the community center expansion, which gets involved with expanding the gymnasium inside that facility to regulation style, or regulation statistics, and also enhance the senior room and redo the kitchen area. Believe it or not, Pillar, who also is doing the multi-purpose pavilion, out of 3 bidders we received, they were the low bidder. However, the cost was substantially higher than what we anticipated. We had $1,040,000 for that project. Fortunately, that's a 50-50 grant with the state of Tennessee, LPRF grant. Fortunately, the low bid came in at over $1.5 million. So we're going to have to do some review of those bids to see where we can cut so we can bring this down to a more advantageous price than $1.5 million. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. All right, we will now move to old business. Item A, ordinance number 1216.
An ordinance of the East Ridge City Council to amend ordinance 1093 in order to comply with certain mandatory building codes and rules promulgated by the Secretary of the Department of Commerce and Insurance for the state of Tennessee.
Thank you, sir, and this will be second and final reading. Mr. Howell.
Yes, Mayor and Council, just to recap this update in the Energy Code will ensure that East Ridge remains compliant with state standards, and it will not affect operations or construction techniques in any way. This amendment to the adopted East Ridge Energy Code reduces the fenestration, insulation, and testing requirements with the 2009 Energy Code tables that the State Fire Marshal Office has adopted.
Thank you, sir. Council, I'll entertain a motion for ordinance number 1216.
I make a motion to approve ordinance number 1216.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Councilmember Witt and a second by Vice Mayor Tyler. Do we have any discussion? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Qualls.
Vice Mayor Tyler?
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle?
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell?
Yes.
Councilmember Witt?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes. Ordinance number 1216 passed second and final reading. We'll move to new business, and I will jump to item J, resolution number 3664.
A resolution of the City Council, City of East Ridge, Tennessee, naming a new location for the East Ridge Dog Park.
All right, council, I will open up for discussion. Or,
No.
Mr. Miller, do you want to? Nope, okay.
I'll get it started.
Go ahead, sir.
All righty. Back when we voted on putting the dog park back here, I was one of the members that was against putting it back here for several reasons. And I'm going to use one of the ladies' words out here. One of them was the poop smell. So it hadn't been no problem because I drive through here at least once, twice a week, and there's no problem there. And I brought up barking dogs. I haven't heard the dogs barking. The only time the dogs bark is when I roll my window down and howl at them. So, you know, it's dogs bark because they're created to bark. So, I personally would like to see us leave the dog park back here. I have discussed Springfield Park with Mr. Miller about the bathrooms down there, and I agree with him. If we put bathrooms down there, it'll create a homeless situation where they'll come in, knock the locks off, and use the thing during the night. So I agree bathrooms wouldn't be no good thing down there because back when we turned it into a park, we couldn't even keep picnic tables down there because of the people coming in, knocking them over, breaking them, and park people have to go down there and put them back up. So, you know, it's just time after time spent on bad money, you know, doing maintenance on something that we have no control because back then we didn't have the manpower to police it like we should. So I'm in favor of leaving this dog park here and putting the restrictions on it, like one of the ladies said, that they would work with us on when we had a wedding or a venue where the doors needed to be up. They would be willing to work around that, set the hours to where their dogs wouldn't be here barking, causing a disturbance. So that is my say-so about it.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else?
I was the other one. Jackie and I both were against putting the dog park there. And totally, I'm still against it. I'm sorry. My theory was that area is not large enough, okay? I've been to the other dog parks. I've been out to Enterprise South. These areas are much larger. We can put different spots. We can fence different spots because we have to close that when it gets muddy and you can't come to it. So I have been told by Mr. Miller that we can fix a very good dog park with enough land. And my theory is the land is there. I have no problem with having y'all help us plan this dog park. But there is not enough land out here, y'all. And once that grass gets gone, they have to close it. Then we have to seed the grass again. So we need to look at an area where we can build a really good dog park where you can move the dogs around. When this area gets muddy and we have to seed, you can move the dogs to another fenced-in area. And that's what I see in some of the other dog parks. So I'm not against y'all. I don't want y'all to think that I am. I don't own a dog. I'm sorry. I'm a cat lover. But I really want a good dog park, and I feel like we have no room for expansion. And at Springvale, we do. We have 3 different lots there. We can do 2 small dogs for the gentleman that has the small dog. You can do the medium dogs. You can do large dogs. You can move them around. That's just my idea. And, I apologize to y'all if y'all don't agree with me, but I did not think this was an appropriate spot to put the dog park. And I still don't.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Everybody seems to be talking about Springville, but when we were talking about this last meeting, it was Camp Jordan or Springville. We're leaving out Camp Jordan, a beautiful place. Big dog park, restrooms, walking tracks. We have it all. But nobody mentioned that. I'm not sure why. Plus, I thought that for our new building out back, you had to have so many parking spots for the size of a building, for attendance. And I thought that's another reason why that dog park had to go, because we got no place to park everybody. And I'll let you answer that one.
There are no plans whatsoever to use that green dog park for parking. Never has, never will. The 12,000 square foot facility that's being built back there has 150 required spaces pursuant to our ordinance. And it's all within that tract of land. There is no way, if we were to move that dog park, if that's what the council ends up voting on, that area will not, well, I won't recommend it, you can override me, but I would not recommend that ever be turned into parking. It would be a green space area that would be utilized for recreational purposes like it was my first stint here from 16 to 18. Okay. Where kids were out, young children were out there playing tag, football, frisbee, you name it, sports. Cheerleading was going on out there too. All those, that's what it would be utilized for.
Anything else, sir?
Well, I guess I'll go last.
No, I always go last.
Well, I'm split on this one. I like the dog park where it is right now. I get to walk there from my house. It's nice. 1 mile there, 1 mile back. Where's my dog out, though? And I like the amenities that are there. I think that having running water for the dogs to drink is excellent. And the fountain actually works, which somebody else mentioned, I think is a great thing. But I think the dog park's more popular than we expected, and we get a lot of people over there.
Mm-hmm.
I have not gone a few times because it is so crowded. You know, I'll mention Camp Jordan. I think Camp Jordan's a good spot. However, if there's like a taco truck festival or it's soccer down there, I'm probably going to avoid Camp Jordan because of the crowds and the traffic, and getting in and out of there is a little bit more difficult. But I like Springvale Park for a location for a dog park, specifically because the space is underutilized as is. And I drive by it fairly often, and I just look at that big giant patch of green space and I'm like, what are we doing with this? So I went by there today and I walked the trails back there, and it is a disaster area. It's clear that there was a homeless encampment there at one time that has been cleared out. And I didn't see any signs of any recent activity, so that was, a positive. But, a larger dog park would be a good idea. I noticed that we have a lot of new citizens here that came to speak, and that was very encouraging. And the fact that we had a dog park was part of their consideration for coming here is also encouraging. The fact that they have their own community and their own Facebook group further enhances the experience of living in East Ridge and contributes to the overall wellness of our community, and I think it's a good thing. But I think that there's an opportunity at the Springvale Park to put a dog park there and get community involvement in maybe planning it, certainly in the cleanup aspect. If there's ever a consideration to put it in Springvale Park, and I spoke to the city manager about this earlier today. I think I'd like to see a cleanup effort on behalf of the city. And I've already spoken to the president of the East Ridge Optimist Club, and he thinks it would be a great project for their club and other civic organizations and churches to get involved, to have a work day, come down there and fill up some dumpsters, make a picnic of it, and kind of revitalize that space. I think the condition that it's in now is because that it has been underserved and overlooked for so long that it has allowed itself to get to this condition. I think putting a dog park there, revitalizing the trails over there, adding lighting, cameras, improving the parking lot over there, and having a dedicated police presence, I think will bring all of that up. And I don't think we're going to see a return of those current issues and past issues that we've had once the park is in place. And with the community involvement and local civic organizations, I think that they're going to be very invested in that part of town. I know that the East Ridge Optimist Club has talked about doing bike safety classes for people. Getting them over there and getting involved in the cleanup effort to clean up those bike trails, could be a start of something else, of getting them more involved over there. There's also the river rescue that we do in October every year. We could, I mentioned something to the organizers about adding the Springvale Park location to their annual cleanup spot to continue preserving that area over there and keeping it clean and free of debris and crime. I see the opportunity. I see it as more of an opportunity zone than anything else. I think putting a dog park over there. My personal preference is to put a pickleball court there, but I don't want to get into it.
Well, that could be added later.
But I think it wouldn't kill me to go over there for a dog park. If I had the best of both worlds, I think I'd have one in both locations, just because I really like the location over here. But I do understand that the pavilion is going to have its needs, and I think the sound issue may be a barrier of entry for some people who may want to use that event space. I personally am a dog person, and like Councilmember Witt, I'm also a cat person. But I think moving it to Springvale is just an opportunity for the city to clean up a middle portion of our city, where we see a lot of development on the east end, and now it's starting to come to the west end. I think bolstering the middle is a good idea. So that's kind of my 2 cents. I would go down there and get it to pass it around, but I do appreciate everybody that came out to speak. The community aspect of the dog park is the best feature, second to the dogs. But that's it. That's all I got.
Right. Okay. So I'll try to keep mine to 5 minutes, as I asked everyone else to. I'm an avid dog lover. We have 2. We've actually they're rescues from our own animal shelter. I've been to this park. I don't come regularly because I have one that she doesn't like to play well with others, so it's constant scolding, and I don't want to do that with her, so we use other means. I was very, I wouldn't say involved, but I was very passionate to get a dog park established. Myself and actually Councilmember Chauncey was involved in getting some of this grant, along with help with Mr. McAllister here, getting grants to get it established. It was originally planned to be in Springvale. Answer your question about Camp Jordan. We've had a study over 10 years ago, and even as last as 2 or 3 years ago, what the citizens wanted and where they wanted amenities. And soundingly, they wanted things toward the center and the west. They didn't want other things put in Camp Jordan. So that's come from 2 different surveys over at least 10-year period, very consistent. Even though we did mention it's a possibility, it always can be a possibility, but there's nothing stopping anyone from going to the Camp Jordan and taking their dog on the leash and walking the 2-mile track. So back to here. So this was an experiment. It is a great experiment. It turned out to be amazing. The situation that I see is too small. Way, way too small. And we thought of that when we put it here. But we wanted to go ahead and put it here and see how well it went. It knocked it out of the park. I mean, you ladies and guys coming regularly, to someone's point that mentioned it is sometimes so busy. I've had people say, well, I didn't go today because it was busy. It's too many dogs, too many people. You go out and look at it now, and it's regularly occurs throughout the season of the year that it's nothing more than dirt. And then we have to close it, and we get people upset with the city because we're closing it and we're trying to water it, we're trying to reseed the grass, we're trying to get the grass to grow. We shut it down for 2 to 3 weeks, even 4 weeks. That's not enough time to start grass and for it to take hold. With Springvale, it's over close to 6 acres. We can put a 5-acre park, multiple zones that can then be transitioned, as Councilmember Witt said, and we can always have nice green grass. We know that there is concerns with the current parking, lighting. I can assure you if we move this, and I believe this council would support this, we would make sure there is security cameras, there's adequate lighting, there's parking, there's definitely going to be water. We can build restrooms. I'm looking here at some other recommendations from staff. Add pickleball courts. I would love to get some pickleball courts here at City Hall, but we have no place for them. To Vice Mayor's statement, this is an opportunity that we could build another great location for other amenities, including an even better amazing dog park than we currently have here that's too small and overused, which I love the word overused because I love you guys coming and participating and socializing and creating a family. So I understand that it is a flood area. Unfortunately, maybe half of East Ridge is in a flood area. Camp Jordan is totally in a flood area, and we have that going on. We still have amazing events that go on. Rarely is it closed. There's times that it's closed from heavy rain and some flooding. There's a lot of work that's went on toward that end of town with some of the new developments that have alleviated flooding issues, which as it starts backing up, it backs up this way going. So not to say it wouldn't flood. I'm just saying that's a part that we have to deal with all the way throughout our city. I love the community involvement. Cleanup project, absolutely. I appreciate everyone's involvement in coming and speaking to us. I wish I had this many people at every council meeting that was participating, providing input to our city, because that's what we want, it's what we need. We need involvement. What else in my notes I had? This is what, about a quarter acre or less? This, about a quarter acre. And you're looking at a 5-acre we're thinking of down there. All the amenities here could be moved. We could reuse the benches. We could reuse most of everything except I think you mentioned the post. For the fences, we might not reuse the post.
Yeah, we wouldn't need to use the post, but we use all the fences and all the amenities out there. There were houses that were located where Springvale Park is, so I don't see a problem with connecting to a water to provide water to that park.
So we could add additional patrols. I'm going to, if the chief would like to come forward and speak on some of the incidences, what you've seen in the past, what's been alleviated, patrols we could do if this occurs. Anything else you would like to add? Mr. Miller?
I'll add a little bit when the chief is completed.
Ask a question before you get started.
Yes.
someone mentioned restrooms, and I know I like good, clean restrooms. You know, at Camp Jordan, if they're camping there, there's a code that they put in to go into the restroom. If we put a nice restroom down there, could they register and get a code, and only people that have the code can get into the restroom? So when you're talking about the homeless going into the restroom, if they don't have the code, they can't get in. That's an idea.
Yes, sir.
Mayor, Council. So I did pull the stats for the last year, and I apologize, I didn't get your name and pulled up that, I guess, off what we posted on Facebook. But for the actual address of 1615 Springville, which is
Is your mic on? I don't hear you that well.
it is on. Can you hear
Okay,
me?
I can hear you better.
I need to lean forward further.
Can people hear him speak?
Can y'all hear him?
Okay, you want to make sure you could.
So the actual address of 1615 Springville, from March 1st of last year, in our records, we had basically 3 suspicious vehicles. We do have officers go down there routinely. It's not daily, of course, but they do what's called park and walks. So they'll get out. We have the neighbors call. I believe for a great majority of the calls, Springville's is quite a bit long, so I actually pulled the stats from the park area itself. So again, we had park and walks. We do have a significant amount of traffic enforcement we do in that. Springville is considered one of our kind of cut-through streets. I did pull well over 30 traffic stops we've done it there over the last year. Sometimes they do pull into Springville. I think sometimes a lot of those are just traffic stops. And then we had 3 self-initiated where officers got out. We arrested one person there on the park. I believe they had a warrant. They were parked there for some unknown reason. An officer apparently observed a bag of trash, which I believe, and Mr. Howell, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the city's property stops at the parking lot there as you go past that, what was traditionally called where kids always went to ride their bicycles, the BMX. I believe that's privately owned. But he saw a bag of trash back there and checked it out, and it was just a bag of trash. And then we got, the other was a suspicious vehicle. Officers got out, and there were teenagers doing what they should be doing. But we don't have in the actual park location, we don't have an overwhelming number of calls back there. I believe you spoke to, there was a homeless encampment. Back again, what we always call the whoops. That has been vacant for quite some while. Now the debris and everything is still back there, but again, with it being private property, it's kind of.
So it is private property back
My
there?
understanding, once you go to the parking lot and go back, an individual owns that property, not the city of East Ridge.
Okay.
Can I make a statement about that?
Yes, sir.
That was on the agenda here a while back when we okayed that house to be built on the other end. The owner that's building that house that got the easement for the sewer and the water.
Right.
He bought that whole tract.
Yes.
All the way down behind, all the way to the creek.
Right.
And all the way around.
He also bought all that trash from
Yes,
the
sir.
former homeless.
It all belongs to him.
And the owner will have to be responsible for cleaning it up since he now owns it. And if he doesn't clean it up, the city will go in there and we'll send him a bill. If it's not paid, we'll lien his property.
The property for sale?
It's for sale. It's for sale? Okay.
Did you say you had anything you wanted to add?
I just want to reiterate, the dog park is smaller. I've done a myriad of these over my years. I think the last one I built was 11 acres. But it's small, it is at times crowded, it is very difficult to keep the grass growing. Right now, it needs grass growing in it again. The problem that we have is probably in April or beginning of May, we're gonna have to close it down for several weeks to be able to grass it and clean it up and make it more usable again. But it is heavily used, I will say that. And probably more so than some of the dog parks I've seen in the past. But if we looked at a larger tract of ground, either at Springville Park, and I also mentioned Camp Jordan Park, either one would present us with a larger facility, at least for an acre to 2 acres for larger dogs, and smaller, what we have out there is smaller for your smaller dogs. And if you build it, fenced it in with the 2 or 3 segments or rectangular areas, you'd be able to move them every 4 months and let the grass grow, keep it greener, and then once one of them gets utilized to the point where the grass is pretty well trampled down, you relocate to another pod and then revolve that over a period of a year. I found that that has helped significantly in keeping the dog park with grass and green. That would be it.
Okay. Council, any other, do you have something else? Okay.
I
Yes, sir.
still would ask that you consider Camp Jordan due to the fact that you're talking about a park in a R1 residential neighborhood. We built a animal facility over here next to an apartment complex. Now look what trouble we have with that. People are going to complain when it's over there, whether it be the guy on the other side of the water on the corner or the house right in front of it. How many times you going to answer that phone every day? Especially when I've already talked to them and they don't want it. I'm just asking to consider, even though you have your studies, that just happens to not be in the neighborhood, Camp Jordan. So there shouldn't be any issues as far as people. Also, too, you made the discussion about tournaments and this, that, and the other. Well, most of the people that come in our town in tournaments and they're campers or whatever, they bring their little dog. Ideal place. So I just ask that y'all consider that over an R1 neighborhood.
Understood, and it's not my polling and research, it's what came out of the citizens of the city of East Ridge. So they were the ones that was adamant they didn't want more in Camp Jordan because of the traffic and everything. I'm just reciting what came out of 2 studies over the past 10 years, multiple times.
I understand, but they wouldn't want it in their backyard either. So just throwing
The
that out.
only fear I have of having it Camp Jordan is there's been times when I've gone down there and couldn't find a parking place. And so, you know, I would hate to build a really nice, because that's what they've told me we can build, is a nice dog park, and y'all not be able to park on certain weekends and certain days because there's tournaments going on. So that is my only reasoning for not putting it at Camp Jordan.
Is that the same thing as gonna close it off here for events that are gonna happen, they can't come here either? It's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
Other than you got tournaments every weekend, Camp Jordan's usually booked solid. No, I understand. Good point. Anyone else? Okay, I will entertain a motion for resolution number 3664.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 3664 and locate it at Springville.
Second.
All right, I'm making my notes here. So I have a motion by Councilmember Witt to approve Resolution 336 with the location of Springvale. I have a second by Vice Mayor Tyler. Do we have any more discussion?
I got one.
Yes, sir.
Are we in a big hurry to do this? I mean, if we're not, the advisory committee, if these ladies appointed right here, maybe they could come up with a different location for us. Or maybe if the city could get the employees inside the city to try to come up with a different location, because, you know, I've sat here and listened to them, and I kind of go along, you know, about the safety down there and the thing down there at the Springville Park, even though that was my first choice for this dog park. And I see the overwhelming response we've got up here. So, if there's no dire emergency of us going ahead and passing this to move it to Springville Park, I'd like to table this resolution right here till we get a little bit more, try to find another location other than Camp Jordan Park, because I'm against moving it down there. You know, well, we own some more property around in East Ridge, somewhere around in here.
We did a very extensive search back in my first stint here in 2018. And we came up with 3 locations: Camp Jordan, Springvale Park, and an area behind Ridgewood plaza, 4.5 acres back there. Apparently, when I retired, it was a decision not to pursue that location, and we ended up with this one. So I'm not sure where we can put a dog park. At that time, we were looking at somewhere centrally located or to the west. But to get a dog park, you need, my feeling, and I've done 5 of them over my past 40 years, you need at least 5 acres to have a good dog park, to be able to split it up and have the amenities that you're talking about. I don't know where I can get my hands on 5 acres. If there are 5 acres out there, the next question is going to be, what is the cost? Because what I've already told the council up here is we've got a lot of projects that we're working on right now, and there's some projects that are on our list to do that I do not have funding for, or full funding for those projects. So you're gonna have to prioritize a lot of this. So if you're looking at land at $500,000 to $750,000, wherever it is, I mean, it's hard to believe it. You look at the corner of North Max Smith Road and Ringgold Road, that went last year for $1.9 million. It's what, a couple acres, if that? So land gets expensive.
I might add too that, just like they said, you'd probably have to double the parking lot at Springville. So it's gonna get real expensive.
Yeah, if you look at putting a parking lot in, and you look at putting a restroom facility in, financial-wise, guys, I'm just letting you know, we have got a bid for that community center that I'm $550,000 short on. And we're gonna have to make some decisions. I can't walk away from a $600,000 grant from the state and not do something with our community center. So, can it wait? Sure. Does it have to be done now? Not necessarily, but we gotta look at the funding part of it too if we're starting to go out there and look at other locations and be able to build these facilities.
I notice here on the bottom of the agenda amendment that there's grants available. Have we looked in to see what kind of grants we could get or how much grants we could get?
Yeah, you gotta have a location identified
but-
first, but yes, go ahead and,
But if we get the dollar value,
Agreed.
that'll put us on the spot to find a
That
location.
should help.
Yes, Councilman Cagle, there is a current grant available through T-Mobile. It's called a Hometown Grant, and currently there's $50,000 available, but we will have to have a parcel identified before we submit an application.
Mr. McAllister, what time is the deadline for that?
Right now, it's a rolling deadline, so it'll end at the end of April.
And we spent how much on the one out here?
25,000.
So we're wanting to.
And that
have
was a grant
Right,
It was a grant
It was
through
a
the
grant.
Boyd Foundation.
but.
and donations from
Right,
other,
but we want to have a much bigger one, so that's why we need 50 at least.
The current dog park, there were no tax dollars spent or city.
Right, it was grant, but for a larger dog park, we would need the larger grant.
Correct. We may have to go after additional funding.
Need one larger than that.
Well, but 50's still double what we got for that one.
Correct.
all right, any other discussion? Any other action?
Question.
Yes, sir?
Since our city manager says that we really don't have the money basically to do the 5 acres over here and do it right to make it safe, the bathrooms, the parking, everything, we don't really have that extra money right now. I agree with Mr. Cagle. Can we table this and put this off for a little while?
That's where I'm going. I asked if there's any other action that would like to be brought forward.
I'd like to second.
Without me
Mr.
asking you to make that.
I'd like to second Mr. Cagle's motion.
I didn't get a motion from him yet, or
Oh,
I would be
sorry.
asking for a second.
He did.
You said, could we, if
Oh,
I'm not
yes.
mistaken?
Motion that we table
Okay.
this till we,
And I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion to table by Councilmember Cagle, and we have a second by Councilmember Ezell. Roll call on Ms. Qualls.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
No, because I'm in favor of not losing the grant, and we may not have an opportunity.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. That has been tabled. Thank you for your input. All right, we will now move back up to the order of the agenda as published with item A, resolution number 3655.
A resolution of the East Ridge City Council authorizing the city manager or his designee to open a money market account at First Bank.
Ms. Qualls.
Yes, this is just moving some money out of the operating general fund account. We'll be moving it to First Bank. It will be put into a money market account, which will have a higher interest rate. We'll still be able to access the money if we need to. I picked the number 3 million because that is the amount that y'all have done a resolution for to set aside for turfing at the field at Camp Jordan. So this would be just for it to get a better interest rate because our operating account does not get a good interest rate. So, but we will still be able to access it if we would need to, which hopefully we would not.
Thank you, ma'am. Council, I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3655.
Make a motion to approve resolution 3655.
Second.
Have a motion by Vice Mayor Tyler and a second by Councilmember Witt. Do we have any discussion? The one question I have is, I know you said it is accessible, but is there any penalty if we pull any out?
No, as
Okay.
long as we don't do a certain amount,
Do you have to leave a balance, a small
well, no,
amount?
I mean,
Is
you
there
can
minimum?
only do so many transactions in a
So many
long time
transactions, okay.
Because it's got, more, but we're gonna get, I believe it's like 3 point something interest, which is better than we're
agree.
getting less than 1% on what we have in our operating fund.
Okay,
This doesn't affect the fund balance or anything. It's
Understand.
still the fund balance, it's just spread out a little.
I was just concerned with
Yeah.
any penalties by a minimum balance but there is a number of transactions.
Yes,
Okay,
and we should have none.
okay. All right. If we don't have any other questions, roll call. Ms. Qualls?
Vice Mayor Tyler?
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle?
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell?
Yes.
Councilmember Witt?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes. Resolution number 3655 approved. We'll move to item B, resolution number 3656.
A resolution of the East Ridge City Council approving a bid for a sound attenuation system at the East Ridge Animal Shelter.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Miller?
Thank you. The city received one bid for the sound attenuation design build project that we have for the city from the Input Group. They're a very reputable group that actually did the whole sound system. We did the sound system in the city hall in these chambers. Their bid came in at $246,783. That was far exceeding what I had set aside for this project. $200,000 was in a reserve. That was a fund balance on the construction of the animal shelter. So that dollars were, instead of pushing it to another project, it would stay in there. City staff met with the Input Group on February 25th to negotiate a comprehensive sound attenuation system that would be within the city's budget. That would be under $200,000. What you have before you are the numbers that we got down to and what we're looking at performing. The inside wall and ceiling acoustical tiles for up to the 3 hallways or 3 segments of 30 kennels would be inside wall and ceiling acoustical tiles. That came in at $62,068. The outside sound barrier wall, which would be constructed atop of the concrete wall, be $120,941.75. We have to take that sound wall at least 15 feet high above the top of the height of the building to be able to keep the sound from traveling over the wall into the residential or multi-residential area beside it, actually to the east. And then the sound system integration, not a lot of money, $9,760, which would would have a system that would turn the lights off automatically at night, and also provide some sound music for the dogs to calm them down. The total of this came out to $192,770.32. So it's my recommendation, along with police departments, that we award the bid to the Input Group for design build in the amount of $192,770.32.
Thank you, sir. Council, I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3656.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 3656.
Second.
A motion approved by Councilmember Witt and a second by Vice Mayor Tyler. Do we have any discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I know it's gonna sound bad, but okay, we're gonna put $192,000 in this hopeful. If for some reason, I'm gonna throw the if in there, that's not enough and you still can't get them to quit complaining, where do we stop?
As far as I'm concerned, we stop here. If we can lower the decibel readings from over 120, what was the decibel that he and I stood out there listening to the dogs one morning over by the outside window of one of the multi-units?
They progress rapidly, like a 7.1 earthquake is way worse than a 6.9. So it's absolutely deafening. So this not only is helping to kind of alleviate some of the sound over in the apartment, it's also for inside the building as well.
Yeah.
More of the sound inside, less gets outside. I would hope we're projecting, or at least what Mr. Allen is projecting, is that we can get well into the 70s over in the apartment complex.
Correct. The only other area we could end up getting involved with is putting the ceiling acoustical tiles on the outside, on the ceiling and so forth. I just have some reservations on that. I don't think it's going to lower it much lower than what we have provided here. And Input feels the same thing.
Tiles and these panels have an absorption rate, and what we have now is basically your cement block refracts about 99%
Yeah.
of sound. So when we cover it, and even the sound that escapes from those going on the outside wall should funnel up as opposed to over.
So we feel that the sound wall would help an awful lot on the outside kennels. At the end, putting all this panels and so forth on the outside in each kennel at an additional cost of $70,000 or $80,000, I think it's really not going to lower it that much.
Good questions. Any others?
My concern is that for the employees that actually have to work inside that place. I mean, the sound inside of there, I mean,
Absolutely
be deafening and could cause hearing issues long term, right?
We've got ear protection for them. It would be nice if we could not use that, if we could get the sound faded enough inside.
Yeah. So I mean, this will go a long way towards that. Okay.
Anyone else? Roll call, Ms. Middleton. Middleton. I knew I was going to do that at some point in time because she's been here so long. Ms. Qualls. Sorry.
Vice Mayor Tyler?
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle?
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell?
Yes.
Councilmember Witt?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes. Resolution number 3656 approved. We'll move to item C. However, this is one that kind of mentioned that we kind of delayed the start of our meeting. So evidently we had some email issues with some of our council members' phones, and they were unable to get all of the applicants that were submitted specifically for the Housing Commission and the IDB. So my recommendation is that we pass those to the next council meeting, so the council members have an opportunity to review all applications and all applicants before they make a final decision.
And we apologize for y'all showing up, but our emails stopped as of the 28th, so.
So I made that recommendation. I can put it in a form of a motion. If you like, okay.
Are you talking,
We'll do individually,
No,
no, just C and D. Do you want, can we do them together or just?
Yeah, because we're just tabling. I mean,
Okay,
what
so-
we're doing is passing these. Yeah.
All right, so we'll pass these or table these. I made the motion and Councilmember Ezell seconded it.
Doing C, D, and E.
C and D. E is mine. I have 4 applicants. I got all of those. I personally interviewed every one of them. I'll talk about that when I get there. So this is just tabling C and D. Any other discussion?
Just passing.
Oh, we're just passing.
Yeah, passing. one.
So we just still need to vote, right? So roll call, Ms. Qualls.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Sorry if you're here for those appointments. Okay, so now we'll move to item E. Resolution number 3659.
A resolution of the East Ridge City Council approving a nomination by Mayor Brian Williams to fill an unexpired term of the East Ridge Library Board.
Thank you, sir. So I received 4 applicants, and I received them all. I reviewed all of them. I actually personally set up appointments and met with each one of them because I wanted to personally meet them. I wanted to talk to them, see what their vision was, see how they wanted to participate. As you know from my comments, I'm very adamant about the library, and so I wanted to talk to each one of them. Cannot make a bad decision for any one of those 4 would be an ideal candidate for the library board. So Patty, the head librarian, participated in these discussions with me and with each applicant individually, and so my nomination that I'm wanting to appoint is Lori Commons. Lori Commons. Commons. So I will make a motion to approve Lori Commons as the library board appointment.
Second.
Okay, we have a second from Vice Mayor Tyler. Any discussion? Roll call, Ms. Qualls.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. And again, I thank them for their dedication. They're willing to serve. I did mention to them we have a few other openings coming up from the library board that they potentially they're very interested in. So I'll move now to item F, resolution number 3660.
A resolution of the City Council for the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the city manager as designated to purchase 3 portable radios for the East Ridge Police Department through the Tennessee Department of General Services statewide contract number 424 pursuant to Tennessee Code Annotated 12-3-1201B.
Yes.
Council, we're requesting the purchase, we included this in the budget from current fiscal year for 3 portable radios. Those are the radios that officers carry on their belts. Purchase price, battery, the charger, and a shoulder microphone, and the total purchase price for all 3 will be $16,842.24 under the Tennessee statewide contract.
Thank you, sir. Council, I will entertain a motion for resolution number 3660.
Make a motion to approve resolution 3660.
Second.
Go ahead.
Let him second.
We have a motion to approve by Vice Mayor Tyler and a second by Councilmember Ezell. Any discussion? See none. Roll call, Ms. Qualls.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Resolution number 3660 approved. We'll move to item G, resolution number 3661.
Sorry, guys. A resolution of the City Council for the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the city manager or his designee to purchase 5 body-worn cameras for the police department.
Don't turn it off. Chief Ezel.
As mayor and council, this is for the purchase of 5 body-worn cameras. This will be through a contract we have through Sourcewell that the city participates in. These are the body cameras. It also includes 5 years of the data storage, cloud storage. Total purchase price is $23,090 and was also included in this fiscal.
Thank you, sir. Council, I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3661.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 3661.
Second.
A motion approved by Councilmember Witt and a second by Vice Mayor Tyler. Do we have any discussion? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Qualls.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. All right, we'll move to item H, resolution number 3662.
A resolution for the City Council for the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the city manager or his designee to purchase 5 mobile radios for the police department.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Elston again.
This is for purchase of 5 mobile radios. These are the more powerful radios that are actually situated inside the vehicles. Again, I think everybody knows we have portables on always reaching. This purchase is also under statewide contract 424. Includes a 3-year warranty. Total cost is $25,028.80.
Thank you, sir. Council, I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3662.
Make a motion to approve resolution 3662.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Vice Mayor Tyler and a second by Councilmember Whitt. Do we have any discussion? See none. Roll call, Ms. Qualls.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Resolution number 3662 pass. We'll move to, thank you. We'll move to item I, resolution number 3663.
A resolution for the City Council, the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, naming the new multi-purpose facility.
Sir, Mr. Miller.
Well, we need to come up with a name for the multi-purpose facility fairly soon. It's going to take at least 6 months to get a sign designed and then fabricated. And we're looking right now, it's right there, they're going. Continuing with decent weather, we should have the multi-purpose facility completed end of November, sometime middle of December. So we need at least 6 months to get this done. I threw out 5 names that the city staff, department heads, and supervisors, we batted this around at our Monday staff meetings. So if you like any of these or any of the others, any other name that you would want to come up with, we decided that we should stay away from the town center name only because we want to call the town center this rectangular area, kind of like a downtown area since East Ridge doesn't have a designated one. That would include, the town center would include the playground, the splash pad, this multi-purpose facility, city hall, library, museum, kind of altogether being a town center per se, give it an identity for our city. Almost like recreation-wise, everybody thinks of Camp Jordan Park. Well, if we had town center, we're gonna go down to town center, that's where everything's happening. That would give us an identity for this area. So we need a name for this multi-purpose facility. So I'll leave it up to the council to decide. We've got to do it soon though, guys. we want to get that sign up there when we open it.
So, council, I will, I don't know, in fairness, I don't know, do we want to, I'll entertain a motion for a nomination. Do we have some names that we'd like to throw out there, and then we can, somebody want to go? I'll go. I like the venue 1921. I like the venue because it is a place, it's this area, and the 1921 attachment is when our city was incorporated. So I throw that one out. Is there others?
Well, you know, I was the chair of the Centennial Celebration Committee. I'm really partial to the 1921 because being the date of the founding of East Ridge, I think it has a lot of significance. I don't think it rolls off the tongue very well. We can call it venue, you know.
Okay.
But I have no strong feelings one way or the other, really, about the name. I know I wanted Scott to name it, so we didn't have to, but he didn't want to do it. I was hoping that they were here to name the pavilion for us.
I like the 1921.
But I like
venue
venue
there.
1921. I think it's suitable for the location in the city's history. I think it's pertinent.
Anyone else? If
But
not,
I'm open
we
for
can
more
enter.
discussion.
Yeah, that same here. If not, if someone wants to make that motion, or I can.
Make a motion that we choose venue 1921 at East Ridge as the name.
I'll second that.
Got a motion for approving the naming of the multipurpose facility, venue 1921, by Councilmember Witt, and a second by Vice Mayor Tyler. Is there any additional discussion? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Qualls.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell, Councilmember Witt, Mayor Williams.
Yes. You have your name.
Got a name?
Proceed.
Hooray.
I hope that was the one you wanted.
Venue 21.
Be sure to get all the words in this one.
Huh?
Be sure to get all the words in this one.
Will
Yes,
you write it
mean-
exactly how you want?
Are you talking specifically?
The words,
at-
there's a line,
Yeah, make
it
sure you get
says, welcome to, there's a line, City of East Ridge.
You ruined it for me, Jeff. I can't drive by that thing no more.
I can't either. Every time I look at it, I go, really?
It doesn't bother me.
All right, we'll move on to item K, resolution number 3665.
A resolution of the City Council for the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, authorizing the city manager or his designee to accept the Hamilton County 2024 Homeland Security Grant for the East Ridge Police Department.
Chief Usleton.
Yes, Mayor and Council.
Thanks, sir.
This was a grant that Hamilton County, several different agencies went in together. The total amount, the grant was about $186,000. Out of that, $15,107.02 would be a portion of the city of East Ridge. And it would be used to purchase Avon protective masks for our SWAT team.
Thank you, sir. Council, I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3665.
Make a motion to approve resolution 3665.
Second.
A motion to approve by Vice Mayor Tyler and a second by Councilmember Witt. Do we have any discussion? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Qualls.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes. Resolution 3665 approved. We'll move to item L, resolution number 3666.
A resolution of the City Council of the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, awarding a bid for the 2025 Street Improvement Road Resurfacing Program.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Mayor. Okay, this year we had budgeted in the 2024-25 for State Street Aid Fund and the Capital Improvement Fund aggregated together for paving and maintenance, the amount of $1,437,976. The City Council approved the list of streets back on November 14th, 2024. The streets were determined by a full 2 or 3 hour tour around the city with Jeff Sykes, city engineer, Chris Vaughn, who's losing names, Chris Vaughn and myself. We got the list of streets handed to us by the streets department, police department, fire department, their input on streets that they felt needed attention. The streets that are on here have deteriorated condition in certain areas, including Spalding, severe cracking, and/or depression, upheaval in the pavement. We received 2 bids. Believe it or not, Tally was not the only bid, and unfortunately, they were not the low bid this year. They got beat out by Caldwell Paving and Grading by $2,000. Bid came in at $1,501,825. That was adjusted due to math errors, but it's still lower than the Tally Construction. So it's Jeff Sykes, our engineer, and myself's recommendation that the City Council award to Caldwell Paving in the amount not to exceed $1,437,976. If we have money left over, we can add streets. If we get 85 to 90% of the streets done, then we'll quit at the $1,437,976 number. And those streets that don't get done this year, we'll put on for next year.
Thank you, sir. Council, I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3666.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 3666.
I'll second that, but do we need to put in the motion that it doesn't exceed the amount of $1,437,976?
Yes, sir. That would be appropriate.
Well, I would.
That's what we have on the resolution, it appears. In the resolution, it states that.
It's okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, good.
It's in the rest. But good catch. Any other discussion? Well, I've got a motion by Councilman Witt and a second by Vice Mayor Tyler. Any other discussion?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Let me find it here. Well, it's on the list of streets being paved. And I noticed the last one down here is the roadway for the multipurpose pavilion and community center. So this is part of that 1.4 million?
No, that has a question mark beside it that we already awarded. That's off.
Okay, so that's off.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That last one is off. And then also note the second to the last one on the list, driving lane of Stanley Heights Baptist Church adjoining the animal shelter. That would be the one that's right up against the grass that goes back to their bus. Since they were good neighbors of ours during the whole construction period, I think that they would be, that would be a good way to repay them back for their hospitality over the 270 days that was under construction. But the roadway, that one was already
Yeah,
out.
I just seen the question mark, so I thought I'd ask the question.
Yep.
Yeah, we already proved that
Question for
one.
the question.
Yeah, that's a good one, yeah.
Yeah, and I agree, Stan Hatch is very gracious to allow us to stage stuff there. So, yeah. Any other, I think, did you have a question? Yes.
A lot of our problems in the streets are around manhole covers, and it just eats out. Prime example is John Ross. I've been here a long time, and I know about how many times we keep putting asphalt in the same hole. Are we gonna fix these right, or are we gonna patch it? In other words, if you're fixing one next to a sewer cover, and it's eat out, are we gonna dig it up and fix the leak?
They're doing that now.
Jump on that one, Mr. Miller, because I'm in his ear all the time about this.
WWTA is doing that now. They've been over my area for the past 3 weeks. Matter of fact, I gotta take a shortcut all the way around to get to my house. They're doing that right now. They're slip lining the sewer lines. They have a sophisticated equipment out there doing that. They actually put a kind of a material, I don't know what you want to call it, trying to think of the word, liner
Yeah,
inside,
slip lining
and
it.
then they throw hot water through that, and it expands and adheres himself as a cover within the line. They're also doing the manholes too.
So to tag on to that, they're required, when they do a street cut, they're required to record that street cut, and it can be monitored now, I believe, up to 2 years, not 1, but 2 years ago, got moved. We just need to have the manpower that we actually go back on a regular basis, and Mr. Howell has heard me about this subject many times, and Mr. Miller, we've got to do routine checks on these, because if we let them pass the deadline, then they're not being held responsible to repair those dips. And guess then who has to pay for it? Our citizens do, which is us too, tax dollars. So, yeah, I'm right there with you. Have been for years. Any other questions?
No, just a comment. This is my favorite program that we put money into every year. Every time I look at this list, I see a list of streets that desperately need it, and it's a good thing. And I want to thank the city manager for staying diligent on this and making sure that we're addressing all the problem areas.
We do our best. The next time we'll be out there looking at streets will be September, October. Wouldn't it be, Jeff? Somewhere in that neighborhood, and we'll have the list to you in November for the 2026 road resurfacing program.
So yes, they're very diligent. This is something that we've not had in many years in the past, and then we've got engaged. I helped
Last
push
couple
for
of
it too, and I want to continue. We started with around $1 million to begin with about 3 years ago.
No, we started, $1 million was in 2023, 1.5 was in 2024. This one will be 1.437 in 2025. You can't have enough money for resurfacing.
No way.
We've got to start, which we have. We've got to continue, and we try to keep investing more because, yeah, these streets have been neglected for way too many years.
And my neighbors over on Marlboro are very excited, by the way.
Yeah, we're keeping a couple sections on that one.
I've gotten emails. They're excited.
Okay. I will note too that we do have some major collector streets, one being Belvoir, south of Terrace. We also have portions of Moore Road, but we're not putting that on until such time as the state has completed resurfacing of the terraces and get all that work done out there, because they're still bringing large trucks and so forth through there. So I'd want to wait until those projects are done, either next year or the year after.
And I
then
know John
resurface.
Ross isn't on this, but
John Ross is
there's
being
a
done
plan
by
for
the
that, right?
state.
Correct.
That's a state grant we're getting for it.
Correct.
That Cameron has gotten for John Ross.
Very good.
Yep.
But that's going to be on the 27th, March 27th agenda.
Excellent.
Good discussions. Any other questions? Roll call, Ms. Qualls.
Vice Mayor Tyler?
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle?
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell? Councilmember Witt?
Yes.
Mayor Williams?
Yes. Resolution number 3666 approved. We'll move to item M, resolution number 3667.
A resolution of the City Council for the City of East Ridge, Tennessee, approving a change order for the North Mack Smith Road Widening and Improvements Project to Adams Contracting LLC.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Miller.
Thank you. Adams Contracting LLC was awarded the bid in the amount of $2,335,643 back in December of 2025. I'm sorry. It was back in 2023. Yeah, 23. Yes.
A little over a year
was
ago.
my mistake there. Okay. They were supposed to start in March, early March of 2024. Because of utility conflicts that came about, we put a stop work on that job, and the utility companies came in, both EPB, Comcast, AT&T, to relocate their wires and their Chattanooga Gas was involved with too. As of this date, all the utility companies have successfully completed their work. However, Adams Contracting has had several increases in their costs and also adding remobilization and mobilization to the tune of $28,845.36. So I'm asking and recommending to the city council tonight that we approve that amount and get that through. There, again, as I mentioned at the beginning of this meeting, they are set to start work on Monday, March 17th. Jeff, do you have anything you want to add?
Mayor and council, this resulted from utilities that were not relocated on time in phase 2 of it. At the time, we thought that the recommendation was good and we were to start the project. Our survey crews missed the gas line that wasn't marked, so we'll pick up the cost of the additional this change order. Already discussed this with Mr. Miller, but this was an error on our part, so we'll take care of it.
Thank you, sir.
We'll reimburse the city that amount.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, thank you. Council, I'll entertain a motion for resolution number 3667.
Motion to approve resolution number 3667.
Second.
I have a motion to approve by Councilmember Ezell and a second by Councilmember Witt. Do we have any discussion? I see none. Roll call, Ms. Qualls.
Vice Mayor Tyler,
Yes.
Councilmember Cagle,
Yes.
Councilmember Ezell,
Yes.
Councilmember Witt,
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Yes, resolution number 3667 approved. That's the last item on the agenda, so we'll move to the discussion of the tentative agenda for March 27th, 2025. There is nothing under old business. Underneath new business, there's an unnumbered resolution, amendments to the HR rules and regulations. Yes, ma'am.
Good evening. In an effort to maintain an up-to-date functional human resources rules and regulations, we will request amendments from time to time. So on this occasion, we're requesting one change and 4 additional policies, largely in response to notations made by a comptroller review of the town of Sweetwater. These policies will help with efficiency and compliance.
Thank you, ma'am. Questions, council?
Are we gonna get a copy of the originals in our notebook so we can look at them before we come in here and talk about them?
They were.
I read mine.
They're supposed to.
I can see the amendments in the back here.
I read the original, I missed the amendment, my fault. I appreciate that.
Any other questions? I see none. Thank you. The next item is another unnumbered resolution, amendments to the consulting contract for Volkert, Inc. for John Ross Resurfacing Project, PIN number 131488. Yes, sir.
Mayor and council, as referenced earlier, this is for PIN number 131488. It's the John Ross Road Resurfacing Project through a state grant. And we have hired Volker Engineering a few years back to complete all the plan reviews, CEI inspections and such for this project. However, is it echo?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm hearing, that microphone's been acting up all night.
Sorry about that.
Plant done it. Try the other one.
Try this one.
I just thought the chief was breathing hard into it.
This better?
Yes.
Better? Okay. Volker Engineering is the CEI inspector as well as the engineering firm for this project. We went out to bid on this project last month. Bids came in and were rejected due to not meeting the regulations. So Volker Engineering has requested the city amend the current contract and add an additional $5,000 to rebid this project for construction.
Thank you, sir. Questions, council? You'll hold that?
I'll hold it.
You'll hold that? Okay. All right. Thank you, sir. Next item is another unnumbered resolution, accept bid award for the East Ridge Community Care Expansion Project, LPRF. Yes, sir.
Yes. This is the approval of the bid. We opened bids on Tuesday for the community center. We're scheduled to meet tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow morning with Kimley Horn and Associates to go over the bid tabulations, and we hope to have those to you next council meeting for review.
Thank you, sir. Council, any discussion, questions? Hear none? All right, thank you. The next item is discussion of city charter review committee. Sir, Mr.
I
Ezell.
went back and read over and over our city charter and tried to see basically when the last time we actually did have a committee go through it and just see if there's anything that would improve our city or make it better. And it looked to me like it's been 10 years. Now, I'm not counting your 2020 issue with the judge.
Issue with the judge. It was
Ma-
a referendum.
Changing the residency of the judge.
Okay.
So it looks to me like it's been over 10 years since we've went back and revisited and looked at them. And I would just like to see us appoint a committee to go through them and see if there's anything that we can do better or make better to make our city better.
Council?
Yeah. What I'll try to do is pull the file from, I think this was done in 16, I think, 15.
It was before I have never,
Oh.
I didn't do it, so I
believe it was
came in.
14 is what I
14,
I came
okay.
in June of 16,
Let's see
so.
if I can locate those records and see what was done back
Al
then.
North was the attorney at that time?
Yeah.
Yes, he
Yeah,
was.
how he was.
Was it a committee at that time, or was it MTAS?
Sir, it was a
Committee.
committee that was appointed by, I think each council member appointed someone to the committee, a citizen. And then the city recorder sat in and the attorney when they were doing stuff with the charter.
Okay.
All right. I'll see what I can find. Those, we have electronic files, I think. I don't know if those are contained in there, but all the boxes that we got, are they at McBrien?
Yes, they're at McBrien. Those are.
We do have an index of all those boxes. I'll have to find it, but I know I have that index. That is an electronic index. Kenny Custer and I went through that pretty good when we got it, and then for a while I think it sat in Mr. Howell's closet for the longest time. But long story short, we have an index. If we can find the boxes,
The boxes are there.
we just don't know what condition they're in, right?
No, sir. There.
All right, great.
Is that something you think we could have or shoot for in the next 2 weeks, since this is?
Completion of the committee.
No, not completion of the committee, the review of your box.
Oh yeah. We'll
Of
do that.
contents.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that.
And
no
then you can
problem.
provide that information then.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other discussion?
Yes, sir. Since he's brought up city charter, I was online the other night trying to find something through MTask. How long's it been since they've updated our ordinances, put it into,
How long's it been since they've codified it?
right?
Yeah, that's been a
I mean,
question.
because that
for-
is,
That's been an assignment for
We've been working on that
city,
for.
city attorney and the city clerk. And now that we're getting a new city clerk starting March 31st, it's gonna be a while for her to get, well, give her a couple months to get her feet wet. After that, she should know it. She's coming from a job in Farragut, which she's done this work before, so it's not gonna take her long to get into it.
no, there was stuff I was reading and I said, no, this isn't right. So,
Yeah, the previous city manager was working on that, and I thought he was close, but maybe not.
Well, we got close.
You got close.
Then we turned in all the ordinances that were done, and they had to go back in years and do all the ordinance updates. So Hannah Rogers is who we were. We met with her, Janet and I, probably about a month and a half ago, and I actually think we can still get that done even with the new city clerk, together with the ordinances that have been passed probably over the last year and a half, whatever that year and a half, 2 years. But that can also get done.
Yeah, I've asked that too for a while, but I know it's just time consuming
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
and with turnover.
We can get it. That's something we can get done.
Awesome. All right. The other item was, we tabled the dog park, so that is gonna be, an item on the table. We can discuss if we wanna add that automatically, or if we just pull it when we feel like it. Or recommendation, do we wanna have it on the next one, do we wanna
If
leave
you-
it tabled until we get more feedback?
From,
We tabled it, so are we asking for investigation of additional property, or are we talking there, I think you said we don't have any, so it's been tabled, I'm just making a note of that.
okay, well, just to let the council know, starting Monday, I'm working on the 25-26 budget. So I'll be spending over the next several months, 80 to 100 hours on that. That's my number one priority pursuant to the charter. So I don't know where to start looking for additional land, 4 to 5 acres. I mean, I went through that exercise in 2018. And I don't think much has changed in the city except except the lands that we were looking at acquiring have now been sold, and we've got businesses located on them. So that land's no longer available.
Fair enough. I
will
just know that
check
it's
with-
tabled.
I check with my staff members if you know of any large areas that we can buy. The key to it is the land is gonna cost you money. And money is one thing that we're short on right now because we've got a lot of projects in the hopper right now, including this community center, which we're short. And we've got a legislature, I want everyone to understand, including the public at home, that is looking at various bills in Nashville. One of them would be elimination of the 4 cents tax on groceries. If that bill were to pass, or any portion of that bill would pass, the city stands to lose $1.2 million of Board of Region dollars and $1.1 million in general operating funds. That's $2.2 million would be out. So they're not done until the end of April, but we've got some challenges to look at. So when we were looking at Springdale and looking at Camp Jordan, we don't have any land costs in there. That's our biggest costs. And if you're just looking at doing a park, we add in facilities, restroom facilities, you're talking about several $100,000 for a restroom facility to be constructed wherever you're looking at it.
The park already would have one, correct? Possibly?
It depends on where you would locate it in Camp Jordan.
Don't we have facilities
We
at
do.
3 or 4 different areas where they
We
could
do.
run right over to?
I don't know exactly, to be honest with you, where we're looking at putting a dog park at Camp Jordan. We will have to investigate that. We're looking at turfing fields are coming up. We're also working with Hamilton County Mayor Womp in regard to, and the county commissioners in regard to the possible construction someday of an athletic facility. That land is there, but if you make that a dog park, then we've lost that availability to use that land for an athletic facility if, in fact, we do go forth with doing something like that. So we've got to strategically locate a dog park out there, which is not going to come into question with any future expansion of the soccer fields or expansion of other facilities.
And not to mention, remember, we are also, there's a study in progress for YMCA.
I'm sorry, forgot about that
So
one
that's
too. So,
two
yes.
amazing facilities that
Yeah.
could also go into Camp Jordan.
We have,
That particular land included the parking. Yes.
you want to add to what I've said?
I'm open to riding around with you to look at places, but we do not keep our restrooms open during the day unless we are open for events because they will get vandalized. We have toilets knocked off the walls every weekend. We have graffiti, and we're there. So literally the only bathrooms we keep open during the day are at the stadium soccer field that we can try to monitor, and then there in the arena.
Yeah, thank you.
And then if we have an event, we have everything open and running.
Okay. Now, I will emphasize what Shauna has said. I've had this problem in every city I've lived in regard to bathrooms in the downtown and golf courses and so forth. They either start them on fire, they burn them to the ground, they wreck them, they kill them, they do whatever they can to destroy these things when they can get into it. So it is a reality to it. That's why we keep them locked unless there's an event going on to utilize it. If we don't, it's going to become a hangout for vagrants. I'm going to tell you that right now. And I can tell you, I'll stop there. But
so as you know, we already keep the ball fields locked now. We have gates up against that. We need them on soccer. We have to run people off our soccer fields daily. I had an adult softball team over there last night, like taking ground balls on soccer field 1 and just putting rivets into the field that we spend thousands of dollars on a month manicuring for soccer. So we're constantly doing things like that. But again, I'm welcome to ride around with you and us look, but until I know where the Y is going, you know, our open space is right in the middle of our disc golf course too. So, but I'm open to anything y'all want to do. You just let me know.
All right, council, any other items to add to the tentative agenda for the 27th?
I have another question. So, let's just say we're gonna use Springville. When would we have the budget to even do it?
The $50,000 grant would be able to get us fencing. I'm not saying we need to do that all at one time. We have fence out here we can use. We would need poles. So we would poles and relocate all the other amenities out there to Springville. I think that could be done easily with $50,000. If we were to add dollars in it, let's say we threw another $50,000. $50,000 is a far cry from my $550,000 I'm short doing the community center project. Something is, you know, we can, that money is available, but it's gonna have to, be honest with you, it's gonna have to come from the fund balance.
When would the deadline be? To move the park? When is the deadline?
Once the deadline for the grant is ongoing,
No. When would you need to move this park somewhere else?
oh,
Is there a deadline?
the dog park, there's no deadline on that. When I was mentioning for it, the deadline I would like to have seen would be have it moved and functional by the end of this year. Because that's when the new town center, whatever we call it, multi-purpose facility.
Venue 1921.
Venue
will open.
1921, I gotta learn that now. Is it 1921, Venue 1921? When Venue 1921 opens, I would like to be in a position to market that venues for various events. And I will say that I do believe that will be heavily utilized specifically for weddings. Last city I worked in, we had a community center. 48 out of 52 weekends a year we had weddings, sometimes up to 3 weddings a weekend. So it's popular. We don't have anything that's of that size. It could fit up to 500 for a dinner. Up to 500. It's not saying we're gonna have 500 anywhere except if you want to go downtown. I don't think we have any major hotels in and around Exit 1 that can accommodate those kind of venues. I will say that when you have any issues of disturbances, whether it be railroad, airport, dog parks in close proximity, you will lose business because people will come out on a wedding. They're going to take a look at that facility, and if they run into dogs barking, airplanes landing, which I had to deal with in College Park, trains going by, which I had to do in Leavenworth, they will turn around and say, we're going somewhere else because we want to have a clean and nice event. So that's one of the reasons I was looking towards relocating it.
So not urgent, but I think one of the reasons it made it to the agenda timely was due to the nice sized grant that was available that
Yeah.
we may end up not being able to apply for.
See,
'cause
the grant's there now. It may not be there towards the end of the year.
So,
Well, it's like the grant we got the last time, it's no longer available, those grants are, so you never know.
yeah. Anything else?
Well, I just wanted to talk a little bit more about Springville. I'm sorry, we're dragging this out. I know we hate these things, but like, you know, earlier I talked about cleaning it up. I was under the impression that the city owned that, and then it was made evident by someone else that that's private property back in there.
Yes.
So, I mean, we should, I mean, I know it's a sense of
Regardless.
urgency, but I'm really got a sense of urgency about that property back there. It's awful.
That's not to say that the city could not get permission from the landowner to clean it up.
Sure.
I will tell you what happens is we had a parcel of property up behind, hey Mike, help me out on this, behind what is it, not Home Depot,
Oh,
at
you're talking
home,
about
at home.
yeah.
Yes.
We paid,
Cinema.
then we paid $50,000 to
Well,
have
yeah.
that property cleaned up from vagrants and so forth. It was that bad. We paid the bill and sent the bill to the property owner. That was 2 years ago. We're still haven't been paid.
So there's effectively a lien on that property.
Yes, but when's the lien going to be served? When's the lien going to be, unless the property transfers or sold to somebody else and that lien is satisfied, that lien could stay on there for years.
So, we have a lien on that property right now back there?
Yes, sir. No, not behind Springvale. We have the one at large.
Yeah,
That-
so
at home,
i-
at
if I
home.
could add something to the Springvale, I've actually spoken with the owner today. I know that's still on Zillow being shown, but he has it. They've accepted his bid on that property. He is very much aware of what's going on the premise, and he is going to have that cleaned up. That's the first thing he said. So once that closes, he's cleaning it and running everyone who's on that property off. He can't do it now. He isn't officially on it, but it has been sold.
That's the property behind Springvale.
That is correct.
Got it. Okay.
Anything else?
Thanks, Mike.
No, that's it. Thank you, Mayor.
Well, I never asked, is there anything else? I see none. Thanks, everyone, for attending tonight. This meeting is adjourned.